Okay, this is a basic tutorial on how to make pom-poms. And you don't need anything special. You could just cut a piece of square cardboard about the diameter of the pom-pom that you want from a piece of cardboard box. It's 4 inches in diameter or in length for this box. So it'll make a pom-pom that's 4 inches in diameter. Just make it whatever diameter pom-pom maker you want. I'll show you a 4-inch diameter pom-pom, and this is the 4-inch diameter pom-pom. So this is the biggest pom-pom that I have on a hat, and it's actually not that heavy. My daughter likes this chunky yarn hat with this humongous pom-pom, and it doesn't look out of place on her. It looks very, very cute. You'll have this little puckered area, so you'll put the pom-pom on there. Here's a commercial hat. This one is made out of fur, but this one, I want to point out, has a detachable pom-pom. So you could get one of these like little push button mechanisms in a sewing store. Get the biggest one you can find, and with a piece of thread, sew that on the bottom of your pom-pom if you want the option of taking it off. So that's something to think about if you're not sure if you want a permanent pom-pom on top. So I made a little slit here on both sides of my pom-pom maker, and I just lay the thread in there and kind of hook it onto the inside of that slit here just to get it started. And then very, very methodically, I'm going to wind the thread around from left to right. You don't want to cross over in an X formation or cross over diagonally, because you want each piece of thread to be approximately 4 inches long. So you're just going to very, very carefully wind it around from left to right, and then when you get to the right side, you're going to wind it around from right to left and just continue until you get a big mass of yarn. The thicker the mass of yarn, the fuller your pom-pom. If you're kind of stingy with your yarn and you don't put too many layers, you're going to just get a floppy, very sad looking pom-pom. So the more generous you are, the better it's going to look.
All the single ladies, 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 put your hands up in the club.
I've gone back and forth about 7 or 8 times. What you see on the front here is only half of the thread. You can see how thick that is. Cut the thread right here like that. Alright, now I'm going to cut a piece of yarn that's about 30 inches, so it's about 15 inches here, and then I'm just going to double up that length to make it about 30 inches. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to slide my scissors up to the top of the cardboard and cut the threads there at the top. Okay. And turn it over very carefully and slide my scissors and cut the other side so that I have 2 big piles of yarn. And one of the piles of yarn is going to have the thread underneath it. Like that. And then I'm just going to pick up this pile up on the other side of the cardboard very carefully. Just lay the whole pile on top of the long piece of string that you cut and kind of center it so that you have the same amount on each side. Just cut it. I use 2 strings because 1 string is not really strong enough to hold this gigantic bundle together. So I tie the bundle of string in the middle, And this is how it becomes a pom-pom, basically. Pull it really, really, really tight. And have somebody put a finger right there. Thank you, Miss Mysterious Finger Man. And then, there. So now you've made the pom-pom, and you can just fluff it out like this and give it a trim so that all the pieces kind of line up. And if there's an odd, really weird, tall section, you can give that a trim and try to trim it in like a little curve. And kind of turn the pom-pom in a couple different directions to see, where the odd piece is that might be sticking out. Now you could be done with the pom-pom like this, and you could keep it just like this. Or there's an additional step that you can take to make the pom-pom look like this, all fuzzed out. And by brushing the pom-pom with a wire or brass, with a steel or brass brush. Be careful because this could scratch your skin, but you could just buy that for like $2 at a hardware store. So I'm just gonna first chop all my pieces so that there's no weird flat areas or overly long areas.
Own little thing. You decided to dip, now you wanna trip. Another brother noticed me. I'm up on him, he up on me. Don't pay him any attention. Don't cry my tears for 3 good years. You can't be mad at me. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring.
Okay, I'm done my pom-pom. It looks pretty good. And then I'm taking the additional step of fuzzing it out. So I use this thing that looks like a toothbrush, but instead of plastic bristles, it has steel bristles. And what it does is it's literally shredding the ends of the yarn and kind of unwinding the fibers and beating up the fibers so it kind of looks like fur. So if you did this to like more of a natural color yarn, like a brown colored yarn or like a light golden brown or a cream colored yarn, this pom can really look like real fur. So just take your time and just very carefully brush the fibers out, and be careful not to be too aggressive. Kind of hold the fibers at the bottom. Don't scratch up your hand either. To not pull the threads out because they could come out, and once in a while clean up the brush.
Don't be mad what you see that he on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Whoa, 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 whoa. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Don't be mad what you see that he on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So now I'm going to attach the pom-pom. So what you need at this point is you can use a yarn needle, or I think it's just easier to actually stick a crochet hook through the inside of the hat and then just hook the yarn and pull it through. On one side of the middle hole, and I am grabbing 2 of the yarns and I'm just pulling it through on the other side. So here's the two yarns right here, and then I'm going to go to the other side and find the other 2 pieces of string. So if that's coming out here, and I'm going to put on the other side of the hole, I'm going to stick my crochet hook there and then hook onto the other 2 and then pull that through to the other side. So you just have that. And it's nothing complicated at all. You take the 2 pieces of string and you knot it together real tight, like that. Just pull it tight and double knot it and triple knot it. And yes, you can take these ends and weave it in if you want, or if you don't want to, and if it doesn't bother you, just trim all the pieces about 2 inches long, 3 inches long. You don't have, it's not going to bother you because it's on the inside. And then there you have it. You have a pom pom on the top of your hat. Okay, that's it. And that's how to put a pom pom on your hat.
Pull me tighter than my dairy on jeans. Acting up, drinking my cup like careless what you think. I need no permission, did I mention? Don't pay him any attention. Oh, you had your turn, now you're gonna learn what it really feels like to miss me.